The police said 4 people had been taken into custody after the attack in New Zealand. 49 people were killed in shootings at 2 mosques in central Christchurch, New Zealand, on Friday, in a terrorist attack that Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern described as an extraordinary and unprecedented act of violence. Officials said that one man in his late 20s had been charged with murder, and that 2 explosive devices were found attached to a vehicle that they had stopped. A Muslim leader in New Zealand said the attack was especially shocking as it took place around Friday prayer. The police urged people to stay away from the mosques until further notice. A video and manifesto that appeared to be by a gunman involved in the shooting were posted online on the day of the attack. Shots were fired at Al Noor Mosque on Deans Avenue in the center of the city, and at Linwood Mosque, about 3 miles away, the police said. The country's police commissioner, Mike Bush, said in an evening news conference that 41 people had been killed at Al Noor Mosque and 7 at Linwood Mosque, and that a further victim had died at Christchurch Hospital. The police said that 4 people, including 3 men and 1 woman, had been taken into custody. Prime Minister Scott Morrison of Australia said that one of them was Australian. Mr. Bush said that a man in his late 20s had been charged with murder and would appear in Christchurch court on Saturday morning. A number of firearms were recovered from the scenes of the shootings, he said. Of the 3 others who were arrested, the police commissioner said that one might have had nothing to do with the attack and that the police were working to determine how the other 2 might have been involved. Ms. Ardern said earlier that none of those detained were on security watch lists. 2 explosive devices were found on one vehicle, Mr. Bush said, adding that the police had defused one and were in the process of defusing the other. Mr. Bush had earlier urged people not to go to mosques anywhere in New Zealand on Friday. He also urged mosques nationally to close your doors until you hear from us again. A 17-minute video posted to social media appears to show part of the attack. The clip, which may have been taken from a helmet camera worn by a gunman, begins behind the wheel of a car. A man, whose face can occasionally be seen in the rearview mirror, drives through the streets of Christchurch before pulling up in front of Al Noor Mosque, beside the sprawling Hagley Park. He approaches the mosque on foot, his weapon visible, and begins shooting at people at the entrance. What follows is a harrowing nearly 2 minutes of his firing on the worshippers. At one point, the gunman exits the mosque and fires in both directions down the sidewalk before returning to his car for another gun, which, like the others, was inscribed with numbers, symbols or messages. When he re-enters the mosque, he shoots several bodies at close range. After another few minutes, he returns to his vehicle and drives away. There wasn't even time to aim, there was so many targets, he says at one point, as the sirens of an emergency response vehicle blare in the background. Before the shooting, someone appearing to be the gunman posted links to a white nationalist manifesto on Twitter and the online forum 8chan. The 8chan post included a link to what appeared to be the gunman's Facebook page, where he said he would also broadcast live video of the attack. The Twitter posts showed weapons covered in the names of past military generals and men who have recently carried out mass shootings. In his manifesto, he identified himself as a 28-year-old man born in Australia and listed his white nationalist heroes. Writing that he had purposely used guns to stir discord in the United States over the Second Amendment's provision on the right to bear arms, he also declared himself a fascist. For once, the person that will be called a fascist, is an actual fascist, he wrote. Felix Jelberg, a polarizing YouTube celebrity known as PewDiePie, distanced himself from the attacks after the man who filmed himself shooting victims at a mosque encouraged viewers to subscribe to PewDiePie in a video livestream. I feel absolutely sickened having my name uttered by this person. Mr. Jelberg, a Swede, said on Twitter. Mr. Jelberg has courted controversy by performing anti-Semitic gestures, which he calls satirical, in his videos. He has a following of 89 million subscribers. Over the last 18 months, tech companies have promised stronger safeguards to ensure that violent content is not distributed through their sites. But those new safeguards were not enough to stop the posting of a video and manifesto believed related to Friday's shooting.